This project looks at a very important and timely topic, how giving behavior is changing and how giving by American households across the spectrum, across the income and socioeconomic spectrum responded during the COVID-19 crisis and how their giving is evolving in the light of the economic and health shocks that many U.S. households have grappled with over the last few years. This project looks at a very important and timely topic, how giving behavior is changing and how giving by American households across the spectrum, across the income and socioeconomic spectrum responded during the COVID-19 crisis and how their giving is evolving in the light of the economic and health shocks that many U.S. households have grappled with over the last few years. During COVID, we did see that giving continued to grow. Among households that gave, the giving amounts increased, and that is very consistent with what we've seen in previous data sets. The strength of this project is that we follow the same U.S. households. It's drawn from the Philanthropy panel study, the largest and most comprehensive study of U.S. households. Now let's shift to the perhaps challenging news from the data. Although we saw high level that giving increased during COVID, the amounts giving that households gave rose. The participation rates or the giving rates, the fraction of Americans who give, declined. And this decline accelerated during the pandemic. So that is the challenge. We actually saw a 4% decrease in giving during the COVID pandemic. Some of that is due to the economic factors, some of the health factors, but we also saw that this was part of a larger trend that predated COVID. In other words, the giving rates have been declining prior to the pandemic, but the giving rates continue to decline during the pandemic. So to sum it up, the giving rate declined, but the amounts that households contributed actually increased during COVID. So there's good news, but also challenging news in the data and in the results. The encouraging finding is that giving among American households continues to be a core value, and that generosity actually continues to persist even in challenging times. That's the takeaway. Giving was resilient. However, the giving rate actually declined. That's the participation rate of American households in charitable giving. That's a concern as we look ahead. We think about giving as something that really contributes to the quality of life in communities, that helps fund public goods, but also contributes to civic and cultural institutions and community institutions across the United States. So the fact that the giving rate has declined, I think, is something that we should be concerned about. But it's also worth noting that households did persist in their giving and that charitable giving was resilient during the pandemic. So challenging news, but also some reasons to be encouraged. A wonderful piece of research that we have showed us that Americans are very generous, and during the holiday season we see that many households really step up in their generosity. The holiday season is a great time to get engaged with organizations. Where do you start? The good news is you can start in your local community and learn about the organizations that are doing work that you're interested in. It may be in education, it may be in healthcare, it may be in the culture and the arts. There are so many different organizations. There are actually 1.3 million organizations in the United States today, but you can always start in your local community. If you want to learn about a specific organization, start by volunteering, visit their website. But if you're still unsure about where to start, local United Ways and community foundations can be a great place to start.